SKORNorth.com.
All right, welcome to a Friday episode of Mackey and Judd here. We'll get to, so Judd's going to sit the first few minutes of this show out because, quite frankly, his level of WWE expertise doesn't rise to the occasion here. And so Declan and I are going to welcome Natalya, WWE superstar. You can find, by the way, WWE SmackDown returning in front of live fans July 30th at Target Center in Minneapolis. Tickets on sale Friday, today. So if you're listening to this, tickets are on sale right now. Go get your butt some WWE SmackDown tickets, and we'll celebrate fans coming back to arenas as we welcome two-time WWE Women's Champion, currently one half of the WWE Tag Team Women's Champions and member of the legendary Hart family, Natalya. And you're rocking the gold here for our YouTube viewers. Dude,
thank
great.
you so much for that great introduction. I was like, wow, I feel honored. Thank you.
So accomplished, yes. I was going to say, I think where my wife and I probably watch you even more over the years is Total Divas. So
yes, I'm very multi-talented.
So we're gonna hit you with 7 hard-hitting questions here, and elaborate as much or as little. We're probably gonna have follow-ups, but are you ready for this? Are you ready to go through the ringer here on Mackey and Judd?
Yes, I'm ready to take my best shot.
All right, Dex. Actually, Dex, let's fire up some appropriate NFL Films music here to really set the scene and the mood, and then we'll get to Judd and Under Siege for an action movie rewind later on in the show here. But all right, question number 1. Declan and I did a series last summer. We just did deep dive reviews into the first 22 WrestleManias. What is your first ever WrestleMania love? Which WrestleMania did you fall in love with first as a kid when you first became conscious of at the time WWF?
Got that. That's easy. WrestleMania 10, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. And of course, I'm biased because those are my uncles, but that match really made me fall in love with wrestling. And it was such a simple story to follow, even though it was such a simple story to follow, even though I was very young. It was, a story about family, brother versus brother, and both of them trying to be the best. But that match was, I always say, if you're a student of the game, you know that match like the back of your hand.
Yeah. And I mean, and it was a weird transitionary time in that it was before the Attitude Era, and the roster at the time, whether it was due to injuries or just lack of like top stars, it was a little bit of a thin card. And so Bret had to wrestle twice. Like you had the night that he put on in particular to wrestle twice and to have those two matches, one against Owen and then another one against Yokozuna, if I remember correctly, right?
Right, in the main event,
Polar opposite styles. WrestleMania 10, by the way, low-key, one of the best WrestleManias of all time.
I know, and it's so cool because it was at Madison Square Garden, which is one of my favorite places in the world to wrestle, as just because of the history and everything. But it's really a testament to Bret as a performer and the fact that he was so diverse that he could really, compete against anyone. And you guys have to check out, this is a shameless plug, but it's worth it. You have to check out Bret's documentary on A&E this Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm really excited about that. I got a little sneak peek of it and a little teaser of a couple clips, and it's really powerful. It's very, it'll make you emotional watching it, but it's very inspiring.
Those A&E docs have been awesome so far.
Yeah, I've definitely learned a lot more about each superstar watching them. And I've almost become like, I've realized, like I said this to my husband the other day, I'm like, I'm actually like a really, really big wrestling fan. Like I've got like that fan in me at heart, like where I'm kind of like, oh my God, I didn't realize that about Macho Man, or I find myself like mega fan mode, super fan mode.
All right,
so
let me tell you, Steamboat.
I think that we all kind of have that in us a little bit. So I love it.
All right, Ricky, 150 moves. Let's script it all out. Yeah, come on. All right, Declan, question number 2. Go.
Mackey does love himself some Macho Man. Natalya, you're one of the longest tenured WWE superstars for a long time now. You've had the Divas Championship, you've had the Women's Championship, you're now the half of the Tag Team Championship. When you look at like this, the last 15 years of WWE and now transitioning from the women's revolution, which in my opinion is now just like the backbone of the business. It's the best thing it's got going for it. How rewarding and how cool is it to see that WWE has made this amazing transition into the women's revolution and it's taken things over?
It's been awesome. And I'm glad you brought that up because it's something I never get sick of talking about. Just even since I've been in WWE over the last decade, we've seen so much growth and we've seen so much change, and the women have gone from, not having very long matches and not having that spotlight that we do now to this is the second year that women have main evented WrestleMania. And it's just so cool to see the women thriving and shining. And we have so many incredible women from every walk of life, and every shape and size and ethnicity. And it's just like really, really awesome to see the women shining. And we've done things that we never thought would be possible. Like, not only main eventing WrestleMania, but also competing in Saudi Arabia, which I was grateful and blessed enough to be a part of. But yeah, the women are really taking over and taking the WWE by storm, and I'm so grateful that I can be a part of it, and I'm so happy to be the new women's tag team champion.
I love it. Yeah, and I guess my follow-up off that question too is, if your career, let's say you were born 10 years earlier and your career would have coincided with the way that women's wrestling was treated in the 90s, where it's shorter matches and it was just more about being provocative, right? How would that have sat with you? Would you have adapted to it, or would it have been a non-starter for you?
I mean, that's a great question. I think for me,
Thank you, by the way. I just took the lead in the good question standings for the season on Mackey and Judd there. Thanks, Natalya.
No, but I think we always try to adapt. I think that's kind of what WWE has taught me the most it's not about survival of the fittest. It's who can adapt to all the changes in front of them. We saw that, especially with this pandemic over the last year. I think I would have found a way to adapt, but also still have been myself. And you saw that with Trish Stratus and with Lita and with Victoria and Molly Holly and Jazz. And there were a lot of really incredible women performers, but, they didn't get as much time as we do now. They didn't get, maybe as much focus or spotlight, but, there were women that really did find a way to stand out. And, we celebrate them today, like Trish Stratus, who I'm still trying to get my match with.
By the way, if you're looking to stand out with your golf game, let's talk about PXG for a quick second. PXG Minneapolis in Southdale Center. They've got their brand new Gen 4 clubs out, so it's like 90 degrees in the Twin Cities right now. It's perfect sweltering golfing weather. So drivers, fairways, hybrids, irons, these are PXG's flagship clubs. Hands down, the best performing clubs you're going to find. So if you're looking to step up your golf game, or are you looking to maybe just look better on the golf course because you're not good at it like Declan and I, you can find some swag there too. PXG Minneapolis and Southdale Center. Find out more at pxg.com/Minneapolis. All right, hard-hitting question number 3 here for WWE superstar Natalya. This is going to be a tough one for you because there's so many options. If you had a Mount Rushmore, so four former or current superstars on the side of a mountain for whatever reason, who are your 4 Mount Rushmore promo cutters in your life watching wrestling? The 4 people that you could just listen to just read the phone book in a ring in front of a live audience.
Gosh, that's it. So 4. That's a great question.
Wow.
I would definitely say Edge. Edge is one of them. I think Edge is an incredible promo, especially during the pandemic when we had such a hyper focus on us. I really noticed that he was he's an incredible speaker. I would say Edge. I would say somebody that I'm always in awe of as far as women doing promos is Stephanie McMahon. She makes it look seamless. Whether she's
evil, she's her character is so evil. When that's it's the right kind of heat, so to speak. Yes.
But she also can play. She can play both. She can She can be good and she can be bad. I think all women like to be. We like to teeter on that bad girl side because it allows us to release that inner brat. But Stephanie's promos are they're always very long, and I'm always impressed that she can carry them for so long. I think Stephanie, Edge. I always loved Bret's promos, and I know I'm biased because I'm related to the Hitman, but Bret's promos were very genuine. When you think about when the Hart Foundation, they were doing that storyline where Bret was bashing America but loving Canada, and I thought that was so unique because he never really turned heel, so to speak, but he was able to work both work the territories of both countries. But I think Bret had a very unique promo in that he was ahead of his time as far as being realistic and bringing that realism to the table that he was just always very reality based. My last one, I mean, I know it's one that everyone always says, but Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
This is a great list.
is like, he's just a wordsmith. And whenever I have questions at work or I need promo advice, I always go to Paul Heyman because he knows how to take something and make it impactful. And he knows how to he'll simplify it or he'll switch things around, or he's just really brilliant. I love working with him and collaborating with him on promos. So those are my 4.
I can't remember watching Paul Heyman cut promos for 25 years or whatever, even going back to Paulie Dangerously. I don't remember him ever stumbling or tripping or if you're doing hours of content on a microphone over your career. It's like, does he ever trip or mess up?
He's seamless.
Yeah. All right, Declan, next question.
Natalya, who is the person who is least like their wrestling persona in real life? So if you're out to dinner with someone, who is that one person who just flips a switch? It's on when they're in the ring and when they're cutting a promo, then maybe when they leave the arena, who is the person who is least like their wrestling persona in real life to you?
Bailey. Definitely Bailey. She plays the role of a bad girl on TV, but in real life, she's just, I probably shouldn't even say this because I don't want to ruin her character for everyone, but she's one of the nicest, most loving, giving, sweetest girls you'll ever meet. She just really is an incredible human. So, but on TV, on SmackDown, on Friday nights,
that's right.
She's a bad girl, but she's incredible. She's an incredible person. I love her. She's a good girl at heart.
Declan's the opposite.
Yeah.
Declan's just a bad boy off the microphone.
Just all the time. No, I'd like to say I'm the role model of the show. I was about to say I feel like I'm the role model. I was
You're the hugger.
And now I'm the role model. So yeah, no, I've loved watching her evolution too. It's been crazy watching her go from this great bubbly hugger personality to now being the role model and the heel. I think she's done an amazing job.
Me too.
All right, hard-hitting question number 5 here. We're into our final 3. So the internet says that you, quote, briefly worked as a salesperson for Kirby Vacuum when you were 18 years old. What was your biggest success as a salesperson at Kirby Vacuum, Natalya?
Oh my gosh. I sold vacuums for a few weeks with Kirby, and I don't even know what got into me doing that job because nobody would buy a damn vacuum from me. And I would give demos on how to clean houses.
Were you going was this a door-to-door? You're just knocking on doors, buy this vacuum, or was it in store?
Much. I don't even know how I got talked into doing it. It was a mutual friend of mine that was he did great with it. But it was sort of, door-to-door sales. And you basically had to give an in-home demo. So you had to clean their house. So people loved it when I would knock on their door and say, hey, let me clean your house and show you how this vacuum works. It lasted, let me clarify. The job lasted for all of 2 weeks. I was 18. I was so frustrated doing that job because the vacuum was kind of expensive. It was over $2,000 back then. And, it was a very expensive, high-end vacuum, and an incredible vacuum. But the only person that bought a vacuum off of me was my grandfather, Stu Hart. And he bought the vacuum off me because he felt sorry for me. So I just realized, you know what, Natty, stick to wrestling. Don't worry about vacuums. Don't worry about cleaning people's homes. But it was one of those jobs that I'm I don't want to say it was a job from hell, but I'm so glad that I'm doing headlocks and drop kicks.
I love that.
All right, question 6.
Natalya, Tyson Kidd, your husband, I know he suffered a career-ending injury in 2017, right? Is that around the timeline? He suffered
2015. Yeah,
2015. Okay, and I know he works behind the scenes as a producer now, right, for you guys. And let's say though he didn't suffer that injury, who would be your dream mixed tag team match? If you could get back in the ring, you two in the same ring, who would be your dream mixed tag team match right now?
Ooh, you know what would be so cool is if it was me and TJ Tyson versus Cesaro and Sasha Banks. That would be so much fun. I think that what a dream matchup. That would be incredible.
Is it true that Cesaro saved one of the moves that he used at WrestleMania this year? He sat on that for 10 years basically to use it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, Cesaro's got so many he's just truly incredible. He's so innovative. I'm so happy that we both get to be on SmackDown together because it's cool to pick his brain about wrestling and just his passion, and he's very inspired by the whole industry. But yeah, he has so many moves in his back pocket, which is very cool. And I always love it when he does the sharpshooter because it really pays homage to TJ and myself and Bret and our family. And it's just always a nice reminder of the connection and special friendship that we have.
Yeah, it's a classic submission. All right, and you've made it to question number 7 here, 7 hard-hitting questions. And we're going to give you the floor here. The last question is, with SmackDown coming up, Target Center, tickets on sale. If you're listening to this early Friday morning, today, 10 o'clock, July 30th, who do you want to call out? Anyone in the WWE right now, who do you want to call out? That's question number 7. The floor is yours.
Anybody to call out in the WWE, if I could call out one person, it would definitely be Sasha Banks. Coming fresh off of main eventing WrestleMania, she's somebody that I really would love to have a rivalry with. I would love to make her tap out to my sharpshooter. And she's somebody that I also have, in all seriousness, I also have so much respect for. I think she's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, female superstar / wrestler in the world. And she's definitely like somebody that I'm inspired by as far as her in-ring work. I think she's really awesome, but she's not as good as me. That's why I'm a champ.
Yeah, you gotta hold that gold high.
But
hold that gold high.
She's amazing. She's amazing. I would love to do more work with her. I would love to wrestle with her.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out. Thanks for showing the gold to our YouTube audience here on SKOR North. And we're looking forward to having you in the Twin Cities. It's got to be so weird in some ways too. WrestleMania to have to see fans around instead of being on the weird sort of. It was an amazing setup, the Thunderdome, but it's got to be a much different feeling when there's going to be actual people.
We definitely, we made it work, and we do that in WWE, and that's kind of the motto, the message that we send to everyone around the world. We were leading the charge in the fact that like we were one of the first sports companies in the world to basically say whatever it takes. We're not going to stop. We're going to give people a release, give them a break, give them something to look forward to when the world is you turn on the news and everything is very intense and very heavy. And sometimes it's just nice to have an escape. And WWE has offered that since the very beginning. Yep. And so while we made it work with a virtual audience, it's going to be so nice to get back in front of a live audience, to feel the energy of the crowd, and to, just to be able to engage with our audience. And there's just nothing like it. And so that is what I'm the most excited about. I can't wait for that.
Well, it's been super fun having you on. And listen, next time WWE comes to town, we'd love to get you on again and put you through 7 more hard-hitting questions here on Mackey and Judd. WWE superstar, and I would even say legend and maybe future Hall of Famer, Natalya.
Oh,
thanks for coming.
I need to pay you off on the side for all these nice compliments. So thank you so
awesome,
much.
Man. All right, Natalya. Thanks. Talk soon, and have fun this summer, all right?
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Mackey and Judd will take a quick pause, and we'll review one of the great early 90s action movies, Under Siege, next.